You're on the clock with Tyler Jennings and Jared Perkins, a Prospects Live podcast for everything MLB draft related. Join us as we discuss the biggest stories from college and high school baseball, bring you interviews from your favorite draft prospects, and break down live looks with Prospects Live analysis across the nation. Get ready, because you're on the clock with Tyler Jennings and Jared Perkins.
Alrighty, welcome to another episode of On the Clock. I'm Jared Perkins. That's Tyler Jennings. We are through week 4 of college baseball. Tyler, how are you doing today?
A little tired, but we're here. We're thriving.
We're going to power through. We're going to make it through. We're going to give the people what they want, to listen to us, because we know that's what everybody tunes into every week, is just to hear us talk. Not the analysis. They just want to hear our voices.
I don't know if people want to hear my voice, but I mean, go for it, I guess.
Yeah. So we have some news stories from the weekend. Tyler, you were out at Wake Forest versus Duke. We'll get into that in a little bit. But we have a new number 1 overall seed in college baseball, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Give me some of your thoughts on that.
Really deep pitching. That's really the biggest story for them, because I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago with Hagen Smith in the 17 strikeout game. Brady Target looked really well, really good. I think they broke the single game Arkansas strikeout record in that game too, because it went to 14 innings. And then Bates Molina had 10 strikeouts of his own that Sunday. That pitching staff is just really deep. There's no other way to put it. Gabe Gackel looks really good. Colin Fisher. It's a lot of young talent in that bullpen, and they're getting some guys back too. Dylan Carter, I think, just returned this weekend. Really excited for what they have. And offensively, they've not really clicked yet. Mm-hmm. And it's something to watch going SEC play, but I think they found their groove a little bit this past weekend. Kendall Diggs, Wahia Aloy is finally hitting bombs, which is good.
What you need.
114, 468. Yeah, I'd say that's a certified bomb. And there's just a bunch of other guys in that lineup that can hit too. Jared Sprague-Lote from Richmond that transferred over. Peyton Stovall's back. They're going to be a problem in the SEC this year, like they are almost every single year.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that, in coming into the season, the bats were kind of the question mark, right? Everybody knew Arkansas had the pitching and the arms. But like you said, Kendall Diggs has looked really good. He's hitting 352 on the season, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. Overall, the team's hitting 300, so that's good. I mean, they got 16 homers, 110 RBIs. So it's what you want to see start the season, at least offensively. Still kind of slow. They don't really have that guy popping out as a huge power bat. But they're showing up every weekend. They're performing. They're doing enough. When you got a team ERA at 2.79, you just need to score a couple runs and get them across the board.
Still not even the best ERA in the SEC
Texas
this year.
A&M.
A&M. Yes, it is A&M. I think South Carolina is actually second or third, 1 or 2. But Texas A&M, man. I told you.
We got to pivot. That's a good pivot. Look at you. Look at those transitions. Texas A&M 16-0. I said they were going to lose last week to Texas because I just wanted to go against Tyler, and Texas lost midweek game. They almost lost to Rhode Island, though, on Sunday. That was a closer game than it should have been.
I was sweating that one out from the Wake Forest press box, I will say. we were talking about it because, here's my thing. I love Justin Lampkin. He's a really good arm to kind of follow for next year's class. He turned in, let me see what it was here, 5 2/3 on 2 hits, one earned run, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. Phenomenal outing. But the bullpen kind of really blew it. Luke Jackson gave up 2 runs. Weston Moss really struggled, didn't even record an out. And then Shane Sadeo, who's been really solid for Texas A&M this year. I think he had struck out the previous 11 in a row or something, and had 6 strikeouts on Tuesday against Texas. He definitely struggled. He got lit up a little bit. But I mean, talk about getting gritty and coming back from that. I think they were down by 4 runs, came back and tied in the 9th, and then Hayden Schott walked it off in the 11th. So there's a ton to like with this A&M team in general. Jace Laviolette, Braden Montgomery. They probably have those 2 and Hayden Schott probably make up the best outfield in college baseball.
Yeah, and opinion. They got Ted Burton hanging out there just dropping bombs. So it's just
pretty much. But Ryan Prager has been turning in quality starts. I don't think he's allowed an earned run across 4 starts this year. And he just came off
1 hit. on Friday.
1 hit, no walks, 13 strikeouts across 7 innings. Like,
yeah,
I think the Ryan Prager of 2022 is back with a vengeance, man.
mm-hmm. He's been nasty.
Max Wiener has done a very good job with taking over the reins of Nate Yeskie and really just driving it home that this is a very talented staff. And Texas A&M getting Max Wiener from Seattle was impressive enough, and now he's showing you exactly what he's capable of, and I'm really enjoying it.
And it's insane to think too, because they're 16-0 now, right? They went from number 7 to number 4 in the polls, and we talk a little bit about that Sunday game about how they almost lost, but look at the Friday Saturday game, right? They scored 17 runs, gave up 0. And that was a combination between Prager, Tanner Scott going on Saturday, went 4 innings, 8 Ks. I mean, they absolutely just shut out Rhode Island in the first 2 games. No offense to Rhode Island. Love them. Home state. But it's just, I don't know. Yes, I'm a Rhode Islander. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you. I'm just judging you for saying that you love Rhode Island. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that.
Yeah, it's a great state. Newport, beautiful place. URI baseball, not so good. But, I mean, it was the same story when I saw URI play Virginia last year at the beginning of the year. Virginia absolutely dominated them. It's really hard as like a school in New England to kind of recruit the same kind of talent. But, I mean, for Texas A&M to go out and blow out any team 17-0 in 2 games is a really testament to what they got and the talent that they have on their roster. And I think they're going to be in that top 5 for most of the year, depending on SEC play, of course. But I think they're going to be a team to look out for sure.
I think it's them and Florida State are the only 2 undefeated teams now.
Yeah,
and Florida State's not even ranked on the D1 polls, I think, which is
wild.
Kind of wild to think about. But even then, like some other polls have them like pretty much at 20. I'm like, I understand the schedule's been soft, but like 14-0 is 14-0 at this point.
Yeah.
That's not a diss to any of the guys that make the polls. I just sit here and just have critiques on them. But Florida State's probably the biggest omission for me on some of these. And like Cam Leiter, Jamie Arnold, that's a really good one too to have in your lineup. They don't have Gavin Adams anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which really sucks because we were looking forward to that's like the easiest 101 I've seen this year.
That's nuts. We've had some other series happen this week. A lot of upsets, to be honest with you, in ranked teams. We'll first go into the lowest ranked team upset. University of Virginia lost 2 out of 3 to Miami. Also lost 2 out of 3 to Miami very late in the game, and that bullpen blew it twice. First game, I believe they're up by 2 in the 7th inning, 3-run home run by Daniel Covett to put the Hurricanes up 6-5. And that was not pretty on Friday night. You don't like to see that. The starting pitcher absolutely dealt. First night, I can't remember his name's blanking on me here.
Colin McKay.
Colin McKay went. Looked great. 5 2/3 innings. I think he struck out 8. But just the bullpen came in and blew the game for him. And that was a tough loss, right? You'd think it couldn't get worse. And then on Saturday, it was a Miami Hurricanes erasing 9-run deficit and scored 13 runs in the final 2 turns at the plate. Not what you want to see. Not what you want to go into Sunday with if you're Virginia. Not pretty.
Nope. We were watching it happen live, and like Monty Taylor, he's the guy that takes care of the ACC baseball stuff over at College Baseball Central. Amazing guy, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Love talking to him this weekend. He's a UVA guy, and he was showing me like they're blowing it, and which is weird because they moved Jack O'Connor to the bullpen. He threw 1 really good inning, looked solid. Maybe he should have gone 2, maybe 3, but I understand why they're kind of like taking it easy with him.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, man, the brakes just gave out.
Aiden Teal gave up 6 earned. Not pretty.
The sad part is that Blake Sear grand slam to go ahead. Silently called that in my head. I was going to say it out loud. Then Monty tells me, "Yeah, he hit a grand slam." I'm like, "Oh, okay,
nice." Well. God, it's Aiden Teal, for what it's worth, has been dominant until this outing. I will say that. I've watched him a couple times, and he's been really good. Freshman, also have to remember that for people's reference. He is Kyle Teal's younger brother, but he's still a freshman on campus. Like big game scenario, can't really like put that all on him. But I think Virginia only dropped to 15th after this series. which I thought they'd drop a little bit further because they were 12th before it. But the pitching staff, even when I saw them play against UMass, the pitching wasn't that impressive. They struggled to even put down the UMass bats. So it's kind of questionable whether they have the arms and the depth to really make a run at Omaha this year.
But they're always going to hit.
Yeah, they
always are.
Henry Ford, absolutely disgusting. Had
Henry
6 RBIs. Yeah. Goddard's raking too.
Didowick, Salki's turned a corner, which is good.
Saki's looked good. Griff O'Farrell's still hitting at the top of the order. They're deep. The lineup's deep. They just got to stop giving up runs.
And plus, they're a pretty set recruiting class this year. I think it's going to get pretty banged up with the drafts. Unfortunately, there's a few Virginia commits that are going to be on our top 200 that probably not going to see the campus in Charlottesville. Unfortunately,
hit the transfer portal.
Are you advocating for somebody to leave the ACC?
No, I said hit the transfer portal. Like team players to come to Virginia.
Okay.
If they can't get the recruiting class is what I was saying.
I see where you're getting at here.
Yeah.
I was like, are you telling the Virginia players hit the portal? Like, come on, Jared, you're better than this.
Yeah, but I should hopefully be out to see Virginia play Wake Forest. Hopefully it's not as bad as last weekend. Another team that got upset. They were undefeated going into the weekend, and then they rolled into the Kansas Jayhawks. The TCU Horned Frogs lost 2-3 to Kansas. And Kansas looked good. I mean, they won a 3-1 victory on Friday night. Absolutely deal fest from Reese Dutton. 7 innings, only gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 9. Absolutely incredible. Chase Diggins provided the offense for him in a 3-1 victory that day. And then they just came out swinging on Saturday. And Cole Klecker got knocked around a little bit. And Kansas put up 8 runs, and it seemed like everybody on that lineup had an RBI. So it was like that team was coming up clutch in situations they needed to drive in runs, and that's how they took the second game. And they got 7 first-place votes, I think. Or no, 3 first-place, 3 top 25 votes this weekend as well.
I don't know. Kansas isn't that good just yet, Jared.
Yeah, just bumping them up to number 1. They're good not good in my eyes.
Hey, in defense, I think TCU was walking that tightrope way too long.
Yeah.
There was at least 5 occasions where they probably should have lost, and I think it finally came back to bite them a little bit. I think our good old buddy Patrick Bauer, I even said, it's like, oh, okay, well, TCU lost, season's over, and he agreed.
Yeah.
Pretty jokingly, but I mean, it definitely is a tough blow to really lose that first Big 12 series to a team that, historically is not good. No offense to Kansas, but like there's been some tough years in that program, but they look pretty good this year. They look pretty good. So Kode Shogi Naga, either which way, he's really good. Ethan Lanier is also there, the transfer from I think St. Cloud State, or he was D2 or something. But yeah, the state of Kansas is rising up.
And I think that, so I'm looking kind of through TCU's numbers here, and you can kind of see where the problem is. It's like out of the guys who've had starts this year, you got Peyton Tolley with a 6.06 ERA. You've got Cole Klecker with a 4.05. You got Ben Hampton with a 6.23. And you got Zach Morris with an 8.0. And those are the guys that have had like 2 or more starts on the mound. And the team ERA is a 4.68. Bullpen arms have looked pretty good, but the starting rotation just isn't giving them the length. They're giving up runs. Peyton Tolley is supposed to be your kind of 2A guy who's been the Friday night. He's struggling both at the plate and on the mound. So just some questions there for TCU. I think more on the pitching side than the offensive side. The bats all seem to be swinging it pretty well. You got Silva raking. Tolley's the only one kind of really not showing up with the bat. Everybody else is hitting pretty well. So you just got to wonder if the pitching will turn it around here in the Big 12 play.
I really hope they do. I really hope they do.
They're a fun team, man. Like, if that team's hot, they're real good. The last one we have, last upset, Tyler was there live. Tyler, talk about the Wake Forest Duke series. Give us a little rundown.
Let's see. Duke. This has been the top 10 team all year, and they've been ranked just outside the top 10. I think now people have finally realized this is probably the cream of the crop in terms of the ACC teams. Duke is loaded on both sides of the ball.
So good.
And like with Wake Forest, it was kind of just a sloppy weekend in general. Get there Friday for Hartle Santucci, and we all thought, yeah, okay, this is gonna be a pretty good duel. No, it really was. It was rough from the get go.
Yeah.
With Wake Forest, I think they're really missing Bennett Lee. Bennett Lee was a really, really good catcher for them and really a big clubhouse presence for them last year. Cameron Gill and Tate Balestro are two guys. I think Gill came from Wofford. Balestro was a transfer, I think, from like a Big East school, I think. And they've both been kind of struggling behind the plate. I can think of Gill having a few pass balls just yesterday. And just offensively, they're just missing the kind of spark plug. Seaver King looks really good, I will say. Merrick Houston has actually been pretty good this year, but now he's out with a hamstring injury. Nick Kurtz just hasn't been hitting. And granted, he's not been getting much to hit. Teams are kind of like walking around him a little bit, but he's not really hitting for power like he was last year. He's really getting unlucky in terms of like anything that he puts in play is kind of going right to a glove, or he's getting walked, or he's running into a strikeout. It really wasn't a good weekend from Kurtz specifically. Defensively, it was kind of rough as well. I can think of a couple of plays just from Friday where Kurtz was kind of getting close to being collided with I think it was Devin Obi both times. And he kind of like cowered from Obi and didn't really get a good read on the ball or something. It was really weird. And then there's another play where like it was a ball kind of hit between him and the second baseman.
Yeah.
And Nick was definitely in range to get it. He just ran to first. And the second baseman was kind of shadowing the bag at second. So it was really interesting. Definitely wasn't the greatest weekend, especially for a guy that we've touted as like a really good defensive first baseman.
Yeah. But he was that all last year. So it's just like it could be confidence things. It could be a mixture of like the pressure of the draft year. Who knows?
Plus like you're as a first baseman only profile, you're really trying to get the bat to perform. I think he's definitely pressing a little bit on both sides of the ball. It definitely hasn't been good. I'm hoping he turns it around because he's a very nice dude, very easy to root for. It's definitely sucking a little bit to watch him struggle so far, but there's definitely some question marks that are still to be answered from this weekend for him specifically. And then we talked about the pitching with Wake. It's lacking a little bit after the starters, man. Hartle didn't go very deep. Burns was obviously the best arm of the weekend, no doubt about it. But Michael Massey only went, I think, like 2 1/3, 2 2/3,
like something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good outing. And then like the fifth inning, man, the fifth inning, the wheels just fell off.
I kept seeing updates on that, and I was like, that's not a good time for anybody.
The entire fifth inning took about an hour, I think. It was rough. And I made the mistake of saying in the press box, like, you know, we just watched Wake Forest kind of like struggle to get outs here. Wake Forest is going to find a way to get runs back here in the bottom half of the inning, and they got like 5 innings, or not 5 innings, but five runs back. So that was a tough inning to watch.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm interested because you talk a little bit about Kurtz's struggles, and you mentioned kind of how they lost some of those big pieces of the lineup. And probably for Kurtz, he was under the radar, not under the radar, but he was flying under the radar Brock Wilken in some sense, right? That guy was the leader of the team. All the spotlight was on him because the draft year was his draft year. And now it's kind of turned to him. And it's like, you've got to kind of find ways to shut out that noise in some sense, and hopefully he's making adjustments, working with the people he needs to work with, and can finally get himself turned around, especially as they get into ACC play deeper.
Yeah, I think not having Wilken as a protection in that lineup kind of does hurts a little bit. Which isn't to say Seaver is not a fantastic guy to have in front of you.
No, he's good, really good.
Seaver was really the just most impressive position player the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But like, you look at Duke, like AJ Gracia, Devin Obi, Ben Miller, Zach Morris. They are deep 1 through 9. Santucci, granted, yes, didn't go deep, but once you get to that Duke bullpen, Gabriel Nard, Charlie Bielenson, James Talon, Fran Oshel, they all looked really good this weekend. And Talon and Oshel have really struggled this year up to this point. And like Chuck Bielenson, man, we made the joke that he went 3 innings on Friday. We were like, if they play tomorrow, which they ended up doing, he's good to go 4 innings after. I'm pretty sure his arm's made out of rubber.
That's nuts. Oh, we got to talk about Ben Miller because I'm looking at this slash line right now, and it's absolutely absurd. He's hitting 492 with a 967 slug. He's got a 1518 OPS. He's got 8 doubles, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, and he's struck out 9 times. That's it. What? Yep. I mean, I see that he's a grad transfer, right? Where did he come from?
I know I think he's the Durham kid in that lineup. So give me like 2 seconds to try and find that.
Penn High School, Durham, North Carolina. Is he just a grad student at Duke? That might be it.
He came from Penn, I do believe.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
they listed his high school as Penn on the website. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Ignore it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came from Penn. And like Logan Bravo, I think was a Harvard transfer too. Really goes to show that Duke really highlights academics.
Yeah.
All these guys,
Ivy Leagues,
they can all play, man. They can all play. It's really impressive.
Yeah, it's smart recruiting too. Like if your team's focused on academics and you get the top guys that are in the Ivy League to come transfer to Duke, smart recruiting.
Duke is the Harvard of the South. Just putting that out there.
We gotta show some clips. We got some clips from the weekend. We talked a little bit about. Let me see here. How did I do this last time? What, you should share screen? How does this work?
I'm very small on the side. There you go.
There we go. Video file. Got you. Let's see. We talked about Duke's lineup. Let's get a little bit of look at AJ Gracia. I'm gonna let this play on a loop for a second here, but just absolutely incredible swing on this home run. What are some of your thoughts of Gracia? I know he's a freshman, so not in the 2024 class, but definitely an intriguing guy.
Yeah, this has the chance to be one of the bigger bats in the 26 class. There's been a lot of development going on with that. Like last year, Brian Recca tweeted me this earlier. It was a really wide stance.
Yeah, I saw that
in high school, and like you can clearly see in that video, he's more upright. He's got the hands higher set, and I think with that going through, he's allowed his hands to really fly through the zone. Man,
yeah,
it's really quick hands. He loves homering in bunches. I'll tell you that much. He had 3 in a game. He hit 3 in a game in like his second or third collegiate game, and then he hit 2 on Friday. And the coincidental part is Stephen Schock, the D1 guy and the former UVA reliever. He's seen all 5. He's been in attendance for every single Gracia home run. So I physically told him. I told him, I was like, okay, so what I'm hearing is you need to go to Duke like every single weekend, and this kid's gonna hit a tank for you. That's all he's gonna do.
Gracia's gonna like hire him as like a personal assistant, so he's just going to every game.
Steven's gonna be his agent.
Yeah, has to be.
Like that's. But yeah, no, Gracia. He played right field, I do believe, and he looked decent out there. Obviously, there's a couple balls he missed because we were always playing at night. There was rain, and then Sunday wind. Oh my God, the wind was brutal.
I can't. It was bad up here, brutal. So I have to imagine it was bad down there.
But yeah, Gracia's swing looks really good. Ken Griffey's finish in the bat drop, buddy.
Yeah, that was real nice.
That ball, I'm pretty sure, still has not landed. But yeah, the swing tweaks that have been made to him have really helped him get to that power more, and it looks really, really good. I really do like that swing.
We got another video here of another guy you mentioned, Seaver King. That ball got out and hurt. Best part of this video is the dugout celebration, by far.
The dugout celly is probably the best.
Go for it.
For what it's worth, that was to retake the lead in like at the second or third inning on Friday. So that should probably tell you how subpar that pitching duel was. But
I was watching that game Friday night on my TV, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is not a pitcher's duel at all." Everybody was just going yard. Everybody was exchanging leads. I think neither pitcher got into the 4th inning, so kind of insane. But we do have to talk about the one good pitching performance that did happen this weekend. We had Chase Burns. He absolutely dominated, and we have 24 beautiful lists here for you.
Go ahead and mute this, by the way. Just so we can hear our beautiful voices.
Yeah.
Kind of go back with Seaver while this plays. 106 double after swinging through sliders at his back foot, and the double was like right here at his eyes. That home run, which was off a hanging slider, kind of middle up, 104, and he also hit another one 112 the day after in this game. And he also looked really good defensively. He took over from Eric Houston at shortstop because he had the hammy issue on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Came out Sunday and made a really smooth play up the middle. There was another play where it was like somebody mentioned it as like Jeter-esque, and it kind of was. Like the third baseman missed it. He was deep in the hole.
Yeah.
And we were like, there's no way he's going to make the throw. He shocked us with the arm strength, man. He looked really good. He looked really good. He made the throw like a step to boot, made another really good play that looked good. I think somebody mentioned this in the group chat. Seaver King might get more money than Nick Kurtz.
Athleticism is insane.
Oh, the twitch and athleticism, man, it's stupid good. But anyways, going to the guy that's on the screen right now, just missing bats at a rapid clip. Coming into this weekend, Chase Burns had like a 50% whiff rate on his entire arsenal, for what it's worth.
Nuts.
In like this outing, it was mainly fastball slider that was really going, which he dropped in a few curveballs to look good. There's a couple changeups that he landed for strikes at like 90, 92. Kind of moved like a two-seamer a little bit. You can project on it. Excuse me. But the fastball turned into a cut ride monster. And I talked to him after the game about this. Because Tennessee obviously had more run to the fastball, and it kind of got lit up a little bit, but it's still a good carry. But he mentioned that he had tinkered with a cut ride shape. You can replay that, by the way, because we spent like half of it talking about Seaver.
Yeah, we'll get it back up here. Hold on 1 second. There we go.
There we go. There's my athletic beast. But he did mention he tinkered with the cut ride fastball at Tennessee, but obviously didn't utilize it much. Now it's straight up just cut ride. I think that one's got a little bit of run. There's one of them here. You can really tell it's a fastball. I think that was it right there. Slight cut at the very end. It's really, really nasty, and it kind of plays off the slider pretty good. It tunnels pretty well.
That's disgusting right there. It's like dotted at the end of the zone.
Yeah. There's the cut a little bit there.
Yeah.
That Devanobi, you can see it. He held 96 to 99 all night.
I thought he was 101 on the 98th pitch or something.
Yes, he was. He touched 100 like 5 or 6 times. He hit 101 on the second to last pitch of the outing. I was really impressed with that. We all kind of had the idea of like, let's see how he kind of holds Philo going into this. It looked really impressive, and it comes back with like an 84 to 91 mile an hour slider that made an illegal left turn. The last pitch of the outing was probably the dirtiest slider of the whole bunch. It was nasty, and like there was one where I thought it was a curveball at 84, and it just dropped off the table. This is the best stuff in the country. Fastball averages like 20 plus inches of vertical carry, slight cut. It is borderline 80. It's a borderline 80 grade pitch.
Today, what pick is Chase Burns going?
He's somewhere in the middle of the top 10. In my opinion, I think that's where he is. Not to mention, I think somebody even mentioned like the celebration that he had. I can't remember if it was this one. This may have been the pitch right here. Yeah, that celebration. First off, here's my take on the Chase Burns celebration, because somebody mentioned this on Twitter.
I saw it.
It was, you've seen it. he tweeted to like 5 or 6 different people to talk about the celebration, and I'll give you an answer on that. It is fucking cool. My thing is, we're talking with Chase after, he's a big fiery competitor. There's no doubt about it. We've all seen him throw 102, miss the bat, and then all of a sudden just decide to go on the biggest like rampage into the dugout afterwards in the Hattiesburg last year. I have no issue with somebody showing off like their competitiveness in that situation. He struck out 14 batters, a career high, against arguably the best lineup in the ACC, if not one of the best lineups in the country. I'd be celebrating my ass off too. Just there, I don't see anything wrong with it in this day of age. It's the same thing with bat flips. Like, hit a home run, bat flip. Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? I mean,
there's nothing wrong with it.
I think Marcus Stroman's kind of put it best. He's like, I don't mind if a guy bats flips as long as I can show him up when I strike him out. Like, he's
exactly.
Like, it's part of competition. Like, there's nothing. And I get why the older players, like, they're not used to that stuff, and so like it's taking them a while to adjust. But I just feel like at this point, like, if you're an old time writer, if you're just like an old time fan, like that's the game now. I don't know what else to really tell people and fans, because like that is what it is. I mean, as long as you're not like disrespecting the other players, I think you're fine.
I think the other players are fine with it too at this point. It's 2024. We're
especially at the college game, man. Like, these guys are 18 to 21, 22 years old. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, man. There really isn't. I don't understand the reason why we have to have this argument in 2024.
We will for a very long time. I don't think it's going to go away.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to turn into the old person that barks at the TV whenever somebody pimps a home run, probably.
Yeah.
That's just the way of the game now. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you take issue with it, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't try and like rub it into anyone else. Like, I think somebody else mentions like that's why he left for the ACC, or is like he's running from the SEC. No, there's been confirmed reports as to why he left Tennessee. And it's not because of the SEC getting away with it, man. ACC is 1B in terms of how competitive it is.
It's just as good. To me, it's like you look at it, most of the ACC teams, they're really, really good at baseball. I'm sorry, but there's a reason there's a lot of them in the top 10 every year.
Yes. And not to mention, like, it's Duke. Duke's really Duke's a top 10 team, man.
Yeah.
I would, like I said, I would celebrate if I struck out 14 in 6 innings against one of the best lineups in the country.
Yeah.
It's 100% deserved.
Yeah. On that note, it's time to put you questions for you. The first one is Nick Kurtz, good or bad?
I'm still on the boat of he's going to bounce back at some point. Once he gets going, it's going to be hard to stop him. But right now, I'm going to have to lean bad a little bit.
Is he a top 10 guy still?
I still think so.
Yeah.
Just with the way he's performed over the past couple of years, but just if this continues, I don't really see how he's a top 5 pick. But
then the Royals will take him at 6, and then the entire Royals fan base will be up in arms.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Vinny Pasquantino will definitely appreciate that pick.
He can move to DH. Kurtz can play first. You know.
What about the other way around? If Kurtz's defense doesn't improve from what I saw this weekend, could it be Kurtz DH and Pasquantino first?
Could be, but then you have Nick Prado out there with like a 1100 OPS in spring training right now and hitting 450 and made adjustments to his swing and being more aggressive. Apparently, he's just coming to play. So
don't worry, it's fine. He's on my dynasty team. He'll be hitting 192 in April. It's fine.
Please don't say that. We have to have.
You know it's going to happen.
You don't know.
I've had him on my dynasty team for like 3 years. It's happened every single year, dude.
Next question. We're gonna do some teammate competition here. Luke Holman or Gage Jump?
Give me Holman.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to one of the LSU student managers the other day, as my voice is somehow deciding to go away. So give me 1 second here.
He's got to drink that lovely drink he's got.
The watermelon punch. Jack
Ugh.
Daniels, not sponsored. Yeah, Jared doesn't like it, by the way, if you haven't been able to tell.
Nope.
Yeah, I was talking to LSU student manager, and like it's kind of similar to what he mentioned. Kristen Javier with the slider and the fastball. If the fastball adds a bit of velo,
He's gonna be lights
dynamic
out.
duo. Yeah, and like he's not using the curveball as much this year. I think it's mainly like slider. He's got a decent splitter. Gauge jump. I like to see how he does in the SEC play because he hasn't pitched for 2 years, just about. But the fastball is invisible at this point. He's got a really good curveball. They're pretty close, but I think at this point, considering Holman's really not, I don't think he's allowed to run this year still. Sign me up for Holman at this point. I think he's a surefire first rounder.
Love it. Next one we're going with two guys this weekend: Seaver King or Nick Kurtz.
Seaver King.
Interesting. Wow, you're not even going to give an explanation. I guess you kind of have already given your explanation.
I think I have already given my explanation as to why I would go Seaver on that.
Love it. We're a month in, so we're going to go through some of these that we rolled off during the preseason. Who right now is your College World Series champion?
Who did I say was my College World Series champion to start the year?
I don't know. I probably should track that. We have to go back and look at the episodes.
Yes, I was going to say, you're asking the question. I don't remember who I picked. Texas A&M probably would be my champion, just with how really we mentioned already. This team is loaded on both sides of the ball. Max Wiener's done an incredible job with the pitching staff that he's gotten. Like mentioned it, Ryan Prager, really good. Tanner Jones, really good. Justin Lampkin, really good. Shane Sadeo, hi. That's a really good arm for next year.
Yeah.
Highly underrated, by the way. If anybody has not heard of that name yet, look him up. Yeah. He is going to be severely underrated going into this draft year, and I think he's one of the best arms in next year's class at this point.
Love it. I think I know who you picked. I think you picked Wake Forest because I picked LSU. So I'm going to stick with LSU. I just like the depth of the team. I like the offense. I'm going to get to say they're going to be back-to-back champs again. Going to stick with it a month in. Still top 5 team in the nation. So going with that. Next one. Who is your freshman of the year?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, there's been some real nice performances.
I might go a little under the radar here. Justin LeBron, Alabama shortstop, has been putting together quietly a really good season.
Love that.
I think he's 2026 eligible, not 2025, but that's a guy to kind of keep your eyes on over the next couple of years. I think he's going to be a really, really good shortstop for Alabama. Let me see what he's hitting here. My mouse has decided to die on me. Give me 1 second here. Come on, Alabama, please load up your roster.
Trying to see if he's 2025 or 2026.
I'm just trying to find his stats because I don't know what they are off the top of my head.
We are not data people and can memorize stats. Sorry.
We try our best, but I'm a big dum-dum. Oh my God, this is taking forever to load up. We're going to keep this in, by the way, for anybody.
100%.
Anybody watching at home.
This is we're going to put a little ad break. It's going to put an ad break right in here, and then we'll come back right after this.
We'll be back after this message when Tyler figures out how to use his internet. Okay, found it. So Justin LeBron is currently hitting 367. Oh, great. It'd be nice if his career stats would show us so I could see everything, but pretty good plate discipline, 12 strikeouts, 11 walks. He's had 4 home runs. I've heard he's been pretty good defensively as well. So I think he's a guy to keep watching for the next couple of years. I'm
going with the guy I saw last weekend, the future Detroit Tiger, Henry Ford. Gonna tell you that he's hitting 403, 6 home runs, 24 RBIs. He's basically been the lifeblood of that Virginia lineup right now. But I guess you could say Henry Gobout also has too. But the swing is what's that?
He's not a freshman. We can't include him in this.
I know. I was just saying in general, he's also been kind of the lifeblood of the team. Henry Ford has been hitting in the cleanup spot as a freshman, just absolutely terrorizing baseball. Did it again against ACC competition this weekend. That's the guy I'm going with for freshman of the year.
I guess if there was anybody else to include, Daniel Cuvée.
Yeah. He's been
even
crushing too.
Even I'm still skeptical because Miami has been iffy, to say the least. But he's got the makings of the next yo-yo.
Love it. Golden Spikes Award winner.
I think you already know my answers to this.
I don't.
Jack Hag.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. It's hard when you're doing it on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he's hitting over 400. He's pitching. He had 6 no-hit innings the other day. Looking at it from a college stats perspective, that's my Golden Spikes winner. In terms of draft stuff, still chasing a lot, still really aggressive. The ball is better. He's still obviously very powerful. I still think having the Ohtani moniker attached to his name is really doing a disservice to him because he's not as good as what Ohtani is.
Yeah. Still really good at baseball, but
I think at some point he's going to have to pick one or the other. I think he's an arm at this point because the fastball looks really good. The delivery looks better. He's throwing strikes. He's doing good. Change-ups plus, but yeah, Jack Haggs is definitely Golden Spikes winner at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably make an argument somewhat for Charlie Condon, but it's just like when you're doing it on both sides of the ball, it's hard to beat that.
Condon's definitely 2.
Yeah,
definitely 2.
Yeah, pitcher of the year, last one.
Pitcher of the year, Ryan Prager.
I mean, he's got like a 0 ERA, doesn't he?
He's thrown 4 starts, not allowed to run yet. I don't think he's going to allow one this year. Screw it, Ryan Prager.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go into SEC play, so we'll see what happens then. But that guy's been. I mean, it's hard to not pick a guy who's got a 0 ERA at this point. I'm gonna go with Hagen Smith.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, that will do it for us for On the Clock Week 4. We don't have another interview for you this week, but we will have an interview for you all next week. Hopefully we'll have Roman Kimball out of South Carolina coming on the podcast. And so that will drop next week for you all. And then I think we might have a couple other guests lined up. So we'll trickle in some interviews here and there. Of course, going to be a lot less because of the season, but until next time, we will see you in week 5.